just trying to get a few little things done here. Wow, look at all these beautiful faces. This is amazing. I just want to say thank you for coming today, and this means a lot to us to be able to host all of you here and to provide this space and this opportunity to learn and grow and become community, become a larger community, not just here on campus, because we tend to get in our little bubble up here, but to expand the bubble further out into the community. I always tell this crazy story about being in high school, and me and my girlfriends would sit around and go, you know what, Santa Cruz is like a fishbowl. We're just here and we're just like swimming around looking out, and it's like, yeah, you know, we got to do something about that. We need to get out a little bit more. So the fishbowl is growing. Right? We have this beautiful ocean to look out. Yeah. So I just want to introduce myself. My name is Angel Rio Tutar, and I use all pronouns. I am Chippewa Cree, and I serve as the director for the American Indian Resource Center here at UCSC. I'm also an alum, so I am I'm a slug. It's so amazing to be back here on campus and like just growing with different perspective and insight, and being able to work with students that are just like incredibly talented and driven and passionate about what they're doing. And like you think about all of the things that it took for them to get here, and then I just want to continue to encourage that drive and that passion for them to continue to learn and to grow and to become who they're meant to be. So one other thing I like to say too, and I could keep going, is that we're all right where we're meant to be. So thank you for being here today with us. I would like to open our program up with Greg Castro from the Association of the Ramaytush Ohlone. So Greg, this mic is live for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Greg.
I didn't expect to be up here. I got drafted, and I certainly didn't expect a cheering section, but thank you very much. Greetings, relatives and allies, and glad to see a full room here. I'm Greg Castro. I'm Totral Slinen, Rumsen and Ramaytush Ohlone, and I'm the culture director for the Association of Ramaytush Ohlone. And the Ramaytush people are the northern neighbors to the Swaswas people, who were the people who were in this area. And I'm also Rumsen, who are the southern neighbors to the Swaswas. So I'm very honored to represent my relatives and give thanks to you all for being in their homeland in a good way. I was just sharing with some of the students outside that we have these gatherings, and we think of them in contemporary terms. This is an event, you know, this is a film showing, but it's really a gathering, and it's really ceremony. We don't see it that way, we don't think of it that way, we don't call it that, but it's ceremony, because ceremony is when we talk in a good way, when we pray, when we sing, when we dance, we tell stories, and those are all forms of prayers, and prayers serve the purpose to bind us to each other and to Creator. And that's why our ancestors did it every single day. And we should try to remember to do that as often as we can as well, to renew that bond that we have with each other, with the land, with Creator every single day. One of my elders shared with me that we're born with two umbilical cords. Shocking, huh? Some of you didn't know that. And one is the obvious one that connects you to the mother, and after it's served its purposes, it's taken care of and ceremony's done, and it's placed where it's supposed to be. But the other one is there still, and that's the spiritual umbilical cord. And that umbilical cord goes right into the ground, to the land that gave birth to us. And all of you, from wherever you're at, everywhere on this planet, has that same umbilical cord going into the ground. And that's what binds us together. And so that's the relationship that we use to renew ourselves when we do our prayers. That spiritual umbilical cord that connects us. A lot of us have forgotten that. The last 250 years in California, we were forced to forget it, but we didn't. And so some of us are still here, and some of us remember, and some of us are renewing that ceremony. So I'm going to share with you a song that is from the Rumsen people. It's I sing it a lot, and that's why I sing it, because it's one I know. I practice it every time I sing it. And it's the fog song. And obviously it applies to Monterey Bay. I don't know if it does anything for rain, but we'll see. But it's also not to just clear out the fog. It's to clear our hearts and our minds and our spirits. Because sometimes when we're here in these gatherings where the purpose is to learn from each other, the fog can get in the way. The fog in our heart, the fog in our mind and our spirits. So this song is to give you a chance to clear that out so you're open and ready to hear what other people have to offer. Arapa Chitijuan Wasihim. 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 Achpanikan, thank you.
I can't think of a better way to kick us off. Thank you very much again. So hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. So many faces and community coming together. It's very beautiful. The American Indian Resource Center welcomes you here this afternoon to the screening of the film Oyate in collaboration with the Lakota People's Law Project, Romero Institute, and the Resource Center for Nonviolence. My name is Alex. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an intern for the American Indian Resource Center. I'm Wekma Loni and Mexican American, and I'd like to thank you all again for being here. So first, we'd like to ask you all to take a moment to connect with the land that you're currently standing on. We're here today to acknowledge and honor our ancestors, the descendants who steward the land that we reside on. Today is a good day to build a relationship with Mother Earth, who provides for all our relatives. No matter what part of Mother Earth your family is from, we all have a relationship and responsibility to the land. So the land acknowledgement used at UC Santa Cruz was developed in partnership with the Amamutsun Tribal Band Chairman and the Amamutsun Relearning Program at the UC Arboretum. It reads as follows. The land on which we gather is the unceded territory of the Owasso-speaking Yupi tribe. The Amamutsun Tribal Band, comprised of the descendants of indigenous people taken to Mission Santa Cruz and San Juan Bautista during Spanish colonization of the Central Coast, is today working hard to restore traditional stewardship practices on these lands and heal from historical trauma. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the Amamutsun Tribal Band, please do so by visiting their website at amamutsun.org. And thank you all again for being here.
Thank you, Alex. One other thing I just wanted to make an announcement is that our closed captioning will be available through YouTube and Facebook channels that you will be able to enable the viewing. Unfortunately, the closed caption will not be available during the viewing in person. So now I'd like to invite our student organizations to come up and introduce themselves briefly as we move into our program. So that mic is live and this mic is live, so whatever you feel comfortable with.
Hesche. My name is Audrialis Evans, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm an enrolled citizen of the Muskogee Nation, a third-year student here at UCSC, majoring in film and digital media and minoring in anthropology. And this is my second year interning for the AIRC. The American Indian Resource Center is dedicated to supporting the needs of Native American students at UCSC and is one of 6 resource centers on campus. Throughout the year, we host speakers, workshops, and presentations that raise awareness about issues that pertain to Native American peoples. The center is a vital link between American Indian students, the university, and tribal communities that fosters growth through mentoring, leadership opportunities, and scholarly development. Some housekeeping information. There is a bathroom through the doors on my left. There's also water, tea, coffee, and hot chocolate in the back, as well as pan dulce. So please help yourself if you haven't already. Please also be sure to visit our tables in the back to learn more information about the organizers of this event. I would now like to introduce some of the organizations that the ARC works closely with. The People of Color Sustainability Collective, the Student Alliance of Native Americans and Indigenous Peoples, and the Sustainability and Environmental Justice Ambassadors. So I'll pass it off to Jasmine.
Thank you, Audrialis. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Yes, give it up for Audrialis. Thank you all so much for joining us today. It's wonderful to see this giant community come together. My name is Jasmine. I use she, her, aya pronouns. I'm a 4th-year sociology major, and I'm a lead intern at the People of Color Sustainability Collective. With our platform, POCSC works hard to be a leader in environmental justice at UCSC, and we aim to highlight POC voices in the environmental justice movement. We hold space for critical dialogue about environmental issues through student discussion spaces, events, and through the reexamination of the definition and values of the sustainability movement. Our groundbreaking collaboration with the ARC team has helped introduce traditions and values into our own events and workspaces. We are also incredibly grateful for our new collaboration this year with the amazing sustainability and environmental justice ambassadors from the Sustainability Office. I will now hand it over to Ezekiel to introduce himself.
Thank you, Jasmine. Oyate shikedo oshine shie Ezekiel kaalogi inishie. Nakai dene nishli shihi bashishen. Nakai dene dashishe. Nakai dene dashanali. Akot yego nakai dene do dene nishli. Hello, everyone. My name is Ezekiel, and I am Dene, born from Salt, and I'm also Chicano. I am a 4th-year student here, double majoring in film and ethnic studies and minoring in education. I am also a student intern with the American Indian Resource Center and primary chair for the Student Alliance of Native Americans and Indigenous Peoples, also known as SANAI. SANAI is one of the oldest student-run ethnic organizations here at UC Santa Cruz, part of what is known as the Big Five Collective. We provide academic and moral support for Native American and Indigenous students on campus and work to increase awareness of both the university and the greater Santa Cruz community on issues affecting the Indigenous peoples of Turtle Island, now known as North America and beyond. Our primary theme this year is cultural representation, and we are achieving this through sharing Indigenous-led media and cultural celebration events such as powwow dancing. And I will now pass it on to Natalie.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie. I'm a 2nd-year environmental studies student, and I'm also part of SEHA, which is a subset of the Sustainability Office for Sustainability and Environmental Justice Ambassadors. Our goals are to increase the visibility and student understanding of environmental justice on campus through peer-to-peer outreach and education, and we advertise a lot of this on our Instagram if you guys want to follow us at UCSC ENV Justice. We also aim to design accessible education modules on environmental justice for our undergraduate students, and we collaborate to elevate the visibility of organizations on campus and in the community that are already doing amazing environmental justice work.
I could not do this without them. There is no way. So let's give them a hand. Yes. These are the wonderful students that I get to work with. So it makes me happy every day. I love my job. I love coming to work just so that I can be with them. So now I would like to invite the Lakota People's Law Project to share a few words. Come on up. So you would you like a handheld or would you like a stand? Okay.
No, I think handheld.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hi, everybody. It's wonderful to see you all here today in this beautiful rain that our environment is loving. And many of you have been in Danny's classes. I've met several people today who have been in his classes, and many of you have been working with us on our projects at the Romero Institute over the years. I want to welcome everyone to come to this wonderful event. And these filmmakers, it reminds me of the past when I was at Berkeley. When I graduated, the first thing that I did was work with American Documentary Films, which was the first nonprofit film company in the United States. And we were making films and distributing them all over the country on the African American Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, poverty in America, and eventually the first environmental film that was made. And I have a real place in my heart for filmmakers who work to bring us the truth so that we can figure out what to do about the problems. It's a very important thing that they do. And we have been working at the Romero Institute, many of you know, was originally the Christic Institute in Washington, D.C., where we were for 20 years. And we've been in California for 20 years. And we've done many national campaigns over the last 45 to 50 years. Big ones, with big alliances and grassroots teams all over the United States, and litigation and education and grassroots organizing. And these cases and these projects have always been about justice, about truth. What is the truth about the injustice that's happening to us? And what about the injustice is systemic? How is it part of the system? And it's not just bad behavior, it's actually built in. And if we can uncover that and tell the truth about it, then what positively can we do about it to make a change? That's really been the driving sort of force behind the hundreds and hundreds of people that have worked in our projects. And I just want you to know that at this stage of our life, we're still at it, and we're going to die with our boots on. There's no question about that. But I want to say to you, particularly to the students that are here, a life of activism is worth it. You know, you have to give up a lot of things. You can't buy into the economic system the way a lot of people do. You have to make choices, but it's really worth it because your heart is not covered up with cement by the time you get to be my age. Really. We have been working with the Lakota people for 18 years. It started here in Santa Cruz with Eleanor Wasson and with people who were visiting her and telling her about injustice that was going on in the Dakotas. There were grandmothers that wanted help with why the state was taking their children and their grandchildren all the time illegally. And Danny, who is, as you know, one of the top constitutional lawyers in the United States, who runs very professional investigations, went out to the Dakotas to try to figure out what was going on and spent years going there 2 weeks out of every month to figure it out. We definitely figured it out. And he then got NPR to come out and do their own investigation, and they did a series for NPR that was historic, showing what was really going on with the taking of the children in Lakota country. So this has a long history, but I just want to say that it's been a great blessing to us to work with the Lakota people. We've learned many things. And just to highlight a couple things. When we began working on climate in a very serious way at the Romero Institute here in California, we really came to really realize at a deep level, the indigenous people in the world know what's going on with a relationship with Mother Earth that doesn't result in us killing ourselves. They know what it's like to be in right relationship with Mother Earth. And they always have known this, and we need to listen to them if we're ever going to find our way through this situation that we're in. And the extractive industries are in complete juxtaposition against their knowledge of how you work with Mother Earth. And so the fossil fuel industries, the uranium industries, the gold industries, the lithium industries, all of them are on a pathway that can lead us to destruction, and we have to work with our indigenous brothers and sisters, and we have to open our hearts, and we have to realize there's other ways to be as an earthling on planet Earth. We learned that. We also learned the depths of injustice that go on in the Dakotas are heart-wrenching, agonizing, horrible systemic injustice. And they are so strong, they are still here. And now they've made a film with these wonderful filmmakers to bring you some truth that will help point the way for all of us as we find our way through this period of time in human history. So join me in blessing these filmmakers and this Lakota team with your heart and soul for all the work they've done to bring you this message today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's what we need. We need the knowledge, we need the inspiration. So in the essence of time, I'm going to cut my next little piece out, and we're going to move into our screening. Later, after the panel. Any questions about that? No? Everybody's good? Does anybody need a paper or a pencil for their question? No? All right, so we're just going to wait for the audio to come up. And I wanted to let you all know that during the film, it was brought up a lot of emotions, and I felt the ancestors with us today, and like having some of my own emotional awareness come out brought me into tears, and I felt the need to burn some sage, and so I did light some sage in the back. It's right outside the door, so if you feel inclined to smudge and offer a prayer, please do so. Do it for yourself, do it for Creator, do it for our brothers and sisters, for our warriors that are fighting, that we're fighting constantly. It takes an emotional labor that we have, and sometimes it's hard to rejuvenate that labor again until you let go and when you talk to your creator, when you talk to your elders. Look for guidance, ask for guidance. And it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to sit with your feelings and your emotions, because those are normal. And when you're in community like this, and we're learning about things that are going on, and we're seeing the struggles that people endure on a daily basis, this is what makes us humans, have those feelings, you know, to want to comfort and care, and have compassion, and send love, and be loved. You know, that's one thing that I talk about a lot too, because I have these wonderful mentors around me, and it's about loving each other, and being able to share love, and be able to give love, and loving. What does that mean to folks? What does that mean to love someone, to love yourself? It's not something that's like encouraged all the time. It's something that we tell ourselves that we need to work on and be like, how do I love myself? You know, those are questions that we ask ourselves. How do we love ourselves? How do we take care of ourselves? What are we doing for ourselves? So we hear too that if we don't take care of ourselves first, how can we take care of others? So the importance of taking care of yourself so that you can take care of the other people around you. So you can take care of your elders, so you can take care of your relatives, so you can take care of strangers that you don't even know. You want to be able to take care of yourself first and foremost, so that you can have that energy and that power, that commitment, compassion, and love. I feel heavy-hearted today and other days in the past week. Give me just 1 second. How's everyone? Oh, yeah?
The crew is on stage. They're still working on it.
Okay. All right. I'll keep talking. Okay. So, in watching this film,
great.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be better.
Almost. Oh, it is. Okay. Let's get started. No, actually, let me finish what I was saying real quick. I was sharing with you that my heart is heavy, and I just recently said that my daughter calls. So there's a connection. You know, she's feeling what I'm feeling, and I feel what she feels. And that happens to us. We're human. We're connected. We're related. We're all related. And so when someone's feeling something, someone else is going to feel that energy too. So it makes me happy that my daughter is like connected to me in that way, knowing that her mom is like struggling right now, and that maybe I need her. I need to hear her voice right now. So on that note, I'll go ahead and start. I think the best way to start this discussion would be with some introduction, so that you all folks know who we're in conversation with today. So I'll go ahead and pass it over to you.
Are we live here? Are we okay? I'm Daniel Sheehan. I'm the chief trial attorney for the Lakota People's Law Project.
I was legal counsel for Chase Iron Eyes in his criminal defense, and was there at Standing Rock. I began my process back in 1973 at the occupation at Wounded Knee, where I was legal counsel for ACLU National for the Native American Rights Committee. So that's
who I am. I'm the president of the Lakota People's Law Project and the Romero Institute.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Hamidakiapi, Chantewashte Anape, Chiuzapi, Tokata, Iron Eyes, Emachiapi. You may have seen me in the film. Yeah, I'm very grateful, and I'll be honest, like a lot of other things that I've participated in when I was a child, I never watched it. I think for a lot of different reasons, mostly because it's a traumatic event, like for people who lived that. And especially like as a young person who is part of the initiative process
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but the lighting from the projector is lighting the top of your head. Can you go forward like 2 or 3 feet right there? It's still happening a bit. Yes, I apologize, but.
Oh.
Actually, that's fine. That's good right there. It was mainly on Tokata. Thank you, and I'm sorry for the interruption.
Yeah.
Back to your traumatic experience.
Well, yeah. Let me continue. But yeah, I was 13 years old, and it was me and a bunch of my other friends from middle school who, and like some other young people, and like, but from my 13-year-old perspective, it was me and the homies. And we started this petition with change.org. That petition was delivered, and then a bunch of shit happened, as you've seen in the film. But that pipeline's still in the ground, and therefore, traumatic event. Traumatic event for the earth, traumatic event for me as a child, traumatic event for the community, for the place. Yeah, so to introduce myself, I think maybe that's the best way to do that. I'm from Standing Rock and Pine Ridge. I'm Hunkpapa and Oglala Lakota. Chase Iron Eyes is my father, and I'm really honored and blessed to be in works with y'all.
Yeah.
I think I'll go before Chase, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, is this this, or do I grab this? I think you're live. I'm live? Am I live? Yeah? Yeah, I think, I'll use that. Okay. Hi. You thought it was on because I'm good at projecting. My name is Emil Benjamin. I'm one of the 2 directors of the film. Thank you. I was also the cinematographer, the editor, and producer on it as well. Yeah. That is who I am. Thank you all so much for having us here today. I really appreciate it.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Martel. I'm co-producer and story producer for Oyate. Thank you for coming. I can watch this movie a lot of times and I still cry because it's very powerful. And I seen movement, meaning uncomfortable chair sitting, and I seen some tears, and that's why I wanted this movie to be and to happen, because too many times we've allowed speaking and the film industry put us in light and not in our perspective. And so I'm glad I made you uncomfortable. It's a good thing, because then you need to make some changes within yourself, in your community, because we're all in this together. Thank you.
I'm Brandon Jackson, also producer, director, and story producer of the film. Thank you everyone for coming out and being here and having this conversation with us. It's really amazing to be here. Should we hear from Chase finally?
Am I live, guys? Yes? Put a fist up if I'm live. Hey, so anyway, my name is Chase Iron Eyes. And I'm really, man, to see all of you gathered there today. I had a previous thing that I wanted to be at for family, and so I hope you'll forgive me that I'm not there today. But I am the director of the Lakota People's Law Project. I've been with the Lakota People's Law Project for 11 years now, and I want to thank Brandon and Emil, it's good to see you, Jen, Angel, Daniel Sheehan, Tokata, and the brother at the beginning who opened it up with a blessing. I really, really appreciate him pointing out that when we gather, it is just a film, and it is a social gathering. It's a time just to be with each other, but it's also a ceremony because we are connecting on matters that are quite important and quite existentially powerful. They are metaphysically, philosophically, spiritually imperative and powerful. And those sacred grounds, those places where we tap into, when appropriate, in a cosmologic fashion or in a ceremonial fashion, or even right there where you're at. It is true, just as Black Elk says, that the center of the universe is everywhere. It's wherever you are able to draw that position in our lives. And so I want to thank you all for gathering there and for joining us and viewing the film. It's crazy to me to think that it was 6 years ago. It was 7 years ago. It flies right by in my brain, in my mind, in my spirit. It was like it was yesterday, and it is traumatic. It's completely traumatic. Those of us who were there experience something different, something much, much different. But the political threats, the legal threats that exist from that time, and that is an expression of corporate extractive fascism. It is a set of values and a very violent system that is continuing to intrude upon and encroach upon those natural rights, those human rights, indigenous treaty rights, and our constitutional rights, American constitutional rights, Canadian constitutional rights. Wherever English is spoken, we have a duty, we have an obligation to build bridges into those other seekers in that English-thinking world and universe who know that indigenous nations are standing in our authority, and we are speaking your language. We are standing up for the collective benefit of what are called Americans, human beings, European Americans, African Americans, whatever identity we've been assigned. We're trying to break through that and recognize each other's power. So to this end, we're still partnered with the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. This woman that I used to work for right when I got out of law school, she is now the president or the chairwoman of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. My good friend is the president of the Oglala Sioux tribe. We grew up with all these people. Another brother is the president of the Great Plains Tribal Water Alliance, which is a collective of 7 different sovereign bands. And right now, the Dakota Water Wars, as they're aptly titled, and you can find them online at lakotalaw.org or at standingrock.org. They're not yet on the Water Alliance's website, but we're working on that. We are continuing to face threats. Right now, the EIS, the first draft comment period has closed, but we need you to go to our site I don't know. All I can see is my big head on the screen, so I kind of feel like it's like I'm a wannabe demigod or a demagogue, and it's a cult of personality over here. I saw my big old head on the screen there. Please go there. Go check out the little QR code. Go to the site, sign up, tap in. You can follow our continued work there, because it's not just the Dakota Access pipeline. The Sioux Nation, the Oyate Shakonwi, stood up, and President Biden made the right decision. Right? Remember when he first got office, he canceled the Keystone XL pipeline. But because of DAPL, 37 different states passed laws to criminalize the kind of civil resistance that we were engaging in that day. So I want to ask for your help. There's thousands of people watching right now, and I really, when I see you guys gather, I love being there. I like that energy. I like that camaraderie. I'm looking for friends in the movement, people who will stand with us back to back, because we are staring down the barrel of a gun. Corporate fascism is for real, and it's coming for us. Look at this election right now, 2024. I'm not going to say anything politically one way or the other, but we have to stand up for ourselves, because they are not trying to respect our human rights. They are not trying to do that. They don't care if our children and our families and our posterity have clean water or clean air to breathe, or if we can eat the animals that are living here, that were here much longer than us. So I'm asking for your allyship in that respect. I want to thank those brothers and sisters who made this film. So I've seen it. This is probably the third time I've seen it. And I love that exchange with me and Tokata up in the Black Hills. That was a great day, man. That was such a fun time. That was such a fun film to make. Our part, anyway. It's not just about us. There's other giants in that film. Stuart James, Phyllis Young. The list goes on. And just link with us. Pay attention, because we got big things coming in 2024. But I'll say about that much for my intro. I just wanted to get it all out there while I got the time. Thank you for being there.
Thank you, Chase. We appreciate hearing you and hearing your words about your call. And we just want to open up to the audience if anyone has any questions. Okay. Thank you. Someone's very thankful for having us here today, so you're very welcome. The question is, how many of these pipelines have leaked, and what has I can almost read this. How has something done about them, and how has the federal government responded? I'm not sure what that word is. Do you want me to read this again? Can you read that?
We understand.
You understand it? Okay, good. All right. Thank you.
Well, the bottom line is that as we argued in the case, both in Chase Ironhide's defense and also in front of Judge Bozeman in Washington, D.C., that it's inevitable that pipelines leak. And the construction of them and the building of them all takes that into consideration, that it's going to do that. And so that they actually try to build ways of, like, when it spills, what is their response going to be, how much is it going to contaminate, et cetera. The point of this one is that it went right straight under the sole source of drinking water for the reservation, and they knew it. And it has had a number of leaks already, not one directly under the water yet. But the problem is that the Biden administration made a decision right when they first began to stop the Keystone XL pipeline with the tar sands. But then they made the typical compromise in Washington, D.C. Well, we'll just split the baby in half, and we won't stop the Dakota Access pipeline. Even though the judge finally ruled after almost 2 years of full litigation that it was completely unlawful for the pipeline to be there. They never had a legitimate right to build it. They should have stopped it with a temporary restraining order. They should have stopped it with a preliminary injunction. And by the time the judge finally decided that it should be stopped, it was already built. And so they argued that, well, it's kind of moot now because they've already built it, which made clear to the indigenous people what the limitations are of the Anglo-Saxon legal system, because it's so skewered toward the rich and the powerful, and for the oil corporations, et cetera. And that's a lesson that we need to take away from this, that you cannot rely strictly upon kind of a vanguard theory of social change, of going just to the courts. And we always say this at the Lakota Law Project, is you have to have direct action on the part of the people. You need to mobilize, you need to conscientize, you need to educate people and mobilize people and help people know what to do about it. And so you saw tens of thousands of people come to that site and sit on the ground and pray together and live together, endure the 42 degrees below zero weather, together. And so that the bond that was established among everybody at that place, different tribes and different backgrounds, is what we still have. It's what was built there. It's what we still have taken away from there. And so that the movement is much, much stronger for the event. And we will get rid of that pipeline. We will have that pipeline taken away because as the Lakota people have shown, they will be there. They're not going away. So we just stay there and constantly go after them. And one of the things about white people is that they will almost always give up if you stay after them long enough. Okay? So that's just something I think we ought to know. Okay?
Well, thank you. That kind of leads me into the next question of what are three, and then I have a question for the filmmakers as well. What are three concrete things we can do to support this work besides donating and signing petitions? What would you all recommend?
Recommendation is to educate others. Talk about it, have those uncomfortable coffee chats, Facebook, social media posts, to sending them messages in Messenger or Instagram, but sharing what you know and educating others and having those discussions. So tonight, go home and tell 20 others. 20 is a lucky number because that means 20 others are going to know what's going on. Because we're in a world of uneducated education system. You probably just got educated today, right? So now, since you got educated and you don't have a degree, because somehow we have to have a degree to say we're educated. We're street smart, we're in survival mode. Go home and educate your family, educate your friends, because when we do that, we become even more powerful.
I know a good movie you could show them as well. It's worth noting, just to add to what Jen's saying, that this is, I hate making this a moment for a plug, but it is also available right now on Apple TV and Amazon and all that stuff. So if you felt like you do want to have other people kind of be clued in on what's going on, they can. It's an available film. Yeah.
Thank you. I do have I have one more question for you all. So as filmmakers, what is the most important lesson making this film? And what is the most impactful thing you learned along the way? And what was one of the biggest challenges in making this film?
I could try and answer all three of those with one answer, which is that it's all about collaboration, and it's all about allyship, and what that means. Usually I think we throw words around like that pretty liberally, and it really does mean being a partner and shutting up and listening, and as you said, having those uncomfortable conversations where it's like, even if you want to do something a certain way, you need to do it the way that the community sees it. I think we had many conversations about how much violence to show in the film. And I mean, obviously you saw a little taste of it, but there's way more, and there's the cops saying way worse things than they said in the film. We cut it all on the floor, because essentially what it came down to was, how do we showcase what the community went through and what needs to be shown in order to get that message across. And Jen showed it to elders in the community. We worked, with LPLP. We did everything we could. We sent in little clips to Chase and Phyllis, and we worked with our subjects. I think in documentary filmmaking, it's always, the old adage is that you stay as far away from your subjects as possible. We tried to do the opposite. And I think we made a much better film for that reason.
I would love to, I totally echo everything Brandon just said. And I think I also speak for Brandon when I say how grateful we were to be allowed into so many corners of the community, being out there. And we have Jen to thank for that 1,000%. And Jen was like North Star of this project from the jump. So Jen deserves, yeah, please round of applause for Jen. To Brandon's point, I think that our role on the film really became, I think filmmakers are people that generate content or generate a point of view. I think for us, we sat back and we were more facilitators, right? If you noticed in the film, even the talking heads on screen, besides, I think, 2 people and then 1 person who says 1 line, it's all indigenous voices. It's not like, well, and then you see the Lakota nation here, and it's not, it's not this distant thing. And I think the thing that I carried with me the most from being in this process, and I think you feel it the most in the heart of these moments in the film, is when we're really on the ground with our subjects. I mean, there's a lot of info dumping, and it's what Jen always calls like Indian 101. And that's really important because people have a lot to learn. But I think the parts that always like get me the most are like where, we're on the ground with Chase and Phyllis, and I mean, I still laugh at that Chase and Tokata scene. It still gets me. But I think you feel that in the film and like what we put together with it, because also I think we walked away the most changed, not, partly of course by all the intensive research we did and the talking heads stuff that we had and the really deep dive educational investigation, but just getting to be with people who are actually on the ground fighting every day for their lives and for the future of the world and the planet is just a completely different experience altogether. And I will carry that with me for the rest of my life, and I've made friends that I will also carry with me for the rest of my life because of it. So, yeah.
So I met Brandon at camp, and I was helping with media, basically, coming in. What are you here for? What are you doing? Who are you working with? And then you go up to Facebook Hill and, get acclimated in with Tom Goldtooth and Dallas. Brandon came and, he was real quiet and timid. Drove all the way from New York City, and we got talking and just kind of warmed up to each other, and he's like, if you were to do if you were to do a film, what would you do? I said I would educate the world, because it's happening. We're waking the world up. We need to continue to wake the world up. We're tired of waiting for them. We have to move forward. We got a lot of work to do, and that's even you sitting in a crowd. You have a lot of work to do. You're human. You have a home to take care of, but you also have a community. If we don't, we're going to have a continuous disrespect for one another, and that's humanly disrespect, which leads into everything about us, how we walk, how we eat, how we take care of ourselves, and how we take care of everybody else. So doing this film was very much, Brandon gave me like a total inspiration, like I could do this. Every day that leading up to the finishing touch of the film was, holy crap, we did this. Like, wow, wait a minute. And to be in light of it was, if we can do this and we can continue, and hopefully we can continue doing more films that will continue to educate, because there's a lot more. We're just a little part of it. And it's interesting how this film has changed people, or has given conversation to, I have people, I work at Sitting Bull College, I work at the Sitting Bull Visitor Center. I have people that are still coming. And it's really interesting, one of the elders said, they're going to continue to come. The Washichu people, meaning the white people, are going to continue to come. What do you mean? They're going to continue to come because the education system is failing them, and they want to know the truth. They want to know how to live. They want to know everything about who we are, because there's a lie out there, or it's not the truth. And I tell you what, it's really reassuring, you know, like I said, watching a film that we did, and I'm still crying. That means, and I see it, it's powerful. It's powerful because, again, we have lots of work to do. I don't know how much more I can say. Do the work. Don't ask questions. If you see someone, see a community member struggling, help. I don't care how you do it. We have plenty of resources. Don't say we don't. Don't ever say we don't have enough, or there's not enough of us. There's plenty of us. We're sitting all together in this room. That's a lie. And if you believe that, then we have problems. So be the change. I'm just really happy and really grateful to have worked with Brandon and Emil and everybody else that's in the film, how everything has transpired to what it is, to where we're at. And we know we got more work to do, and hopefully we'll have some more films coming.
I would like to have more films come. So thank you all so much for sharing with us today and being in the Zoom box. Chase, we really appreciate you being here too. We do have one final question. What is the name of the hip hop artist featured in the film?
Oh.
That is Stuart James. He'll be so happy that you asked that. Everyone, follow him right now. Stuart James
Stuart
Music.
James. We're gonna make note of that because
He's on Spotify, SoundCloud. You follow him on IG. He's everywhere.
Did you have a question?
Yeah. Any final comments from any of you who want to say anything?
Wait, hold off on answering that. Okay. So Chase, I have a question for you. Can you speak about the nexus between Native and advocacy work and climate action?
Yes. I thank you because I'm just going to chill up here on the wall until you call on me.
Well, I am going to give you a time limit.
Thank you. We have, we spent a lot of time in Pihimaha at Thacker Pass with the Paiute and Shoshone grandmothers. And they're at the intersection and at the boiling point of the new green colonialism. And we have, when you talk about, the archive that we have at Lakota People's Law Project, Romero Institute, Earthstream Media, we have a tremendous archive. And we have stories to tell. And since Standing Rock, you see an absolute explosion of indigenous representation in the U.S. President's cabinet, in the Actors Awards, in the Music Awards, in the galas, and in the different institutions that impose, what is cool and what is culture on human beings. You see Native people represented in there for the first time ever. We've never been there. We've never been in there. We've never had the kind of money to tell our own stories. Indigenous representation, Native representation at an all-time high, but indigenous agency and the power and money and wherewithal to tell our own stories is not there yet, but it's coming. It is on its way. This is a social, political, spiritual evolution. One thing that I'll say is, please, we haven't released anything about Thacker Pass and lithium, but the plan, whenever the feds subsidize something, you can bet that that's 2 years of hundreds of millions of dollars of lobbyist work, quote unquote work, drilling in on the politicians to create social welfare for those corporate systems that are receiving the bulk of corporate welfare from the United States, from our taxpayers' dollars. Lithium, the individual car electric vehicle explosion that is happening, is part of that, but we also want to promote the deployment of renewable energy. So we're thinking very carefully about how to help tell those stories. In the Black Hills, lithium mining is going on. Not only that, but the state of South Dakota, thankfully that governor out there, Kristi Noem, is not able to run for another term. She's termed out, but I'm hoping that means we're gonna get somebody who's better or who's at least respectful of tribal sovereignty. It's a different world out here in the Dakotas. They do not want to recognize our rights, the Great Sioux Nation's rights to the Missouri River. They're trying to pump it right now over to the Black Hills of South Dakota for lithium mining, for the expansion of our military base. And there are at least 2 or 3 other giant, hundreds of millions of dollars, almost $1 billion water projects. And water is a very scarce, precious source of life. Water is life, Mini Wichoni. And so when we talk about climate change, I'll end my commentary with this, is that we cannot give up our power. We cannot go into a state of despair, into a state of meaninglessness, or into a state of feeling like we can't impact our future, our political reality, our economic reality. we do need to think about what we can be doing besides liking stuff on social media or donating money, whatever all that stuff helps because of the support that we get, we're able to do the kind of work that is right in front of us right now, right in the Dakotas. And we can save ourselves. That's what we have to remember, is we are responsible for saving ourselves and neutralizing those forces that are threatening our lives. That's what corporate fascism is doing, is threatening our ability to be alive and to make a living in a way that's respectable to the universe, to God, to Tunkashila or Wakantanka, whatever you want, however you want to put terms around your relationship with the sacred. And so I'll end by saying that there is a lot of work ahead of us, but we have to feel empowered. We have to know that this is within us. It is within our authority. Nobody's going to ask us to do it. We have to take that step and assert ourselves and assert indigenous sovereignty and nationhood and defend our collective human rights, international rights, and constitutional rights.
Thank you, Chase. So I wanted to hear your input on that, Tokata, in a way that being of the next generation, very similar to the folks here on campus, what would you recommend for the Native youth today to get involved in the activism, advocacy, organizing, filmmaking, etc.?
You said handheld mic, please. Your lapel mic is buzzing.
My lapel mic is... Okay. Wait, so what is my advice to Native youth entering those fields?
What would you recommend for them getting involved?
I mean, as a Native youth who's like, who's very much trying to do that currently, I'll say that from my experience, the best advice will always be to remember to go home. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, you have to return to your homelands. And it needs to be most of who you are if you want to survive. Like what it takes to comprehend and understand that you will be exploited in any of those fields and in any of the institutions that they exist in. So protect yourself and keep your family around you. Your chosen family, birth family, whatever, but it's really important to find people. Yeah, that's I think a lot of the advice that I would give. The other is probably try not to worry too much about money. Like, for real. Because, I mean, just like, if you're a Native kid, then you'll get that, you know? It's like, we've got a lot of family. I'm from the poorest county in the United States, so a lot of my family, you know, doesn't make, I think the statistics is like the average citizen has like an annual income of $7K on Pine Ridge, which is Oglala County, which is where my family lives. So yeah, but here's what I'll tell you, is also that place is my haven, you know? So I just told you like two really contradicting things, and this is the reality that every Native kid that you'll ever meet is trying to rectify within themselves. It's like, yes, I need to keep my land here and present. I need to keep, because it's like, it's an extension of ourselves. It's our body, it's us. It's like our soul. If we pray to it, if we pray there, if we're fed from it, you know. But working and having to understand that you're selling yourself and you're trading yourself, and when you're a Native person, it almost inherently means that you must commodify your trauma as a consequence of a genocidal process, and that is a pattern that can be recognized across the entire globe. We traffic in it now. And so I like what Jen was saying about the work. I do think that more questions need to be asked, because I think not enough of the right ones are being asked. Yeah, so I think if people started being more open and honest with their questions, that maybe we could have conversations that'll get us to a place that feels safer for all of us. Because if you don't feel like an urgent sense that something is incredibly wrong all the time, like, and if you can manage like this sort of lie that we live in dignity amongst each other, like those are the type of questions. Those are the type of questions, I think, at this point.
Well, I just want to say thank you. Yeah. One last question, and then we are going to wrap up our programming.
Go ahead.
Which congresspersons do you consider to be most effectual and interested in advocating for the First Nations?
Of course, was a congressperson, is now the Secretary of the Interior.
I'll say, and anybody who has been open in their advocacy for Palestine is an advocate for Native sovereignty.
The Progressive Caucus in the Congress of the United States, there's over 100 members of the House. Bernie Sanders is the only senator that's in that. But if you look to the Progressive Caucus, out of the 435 congresspeople, you look to those 100 people, and you'll find basically that's where you're going to find the support for the indigenous people around the world. Some more than others, and it gravitates all the way up to, I think, AOC, who you better keep an eye on, because you know that even though this election is coming up in 2024, there's going to be an election in 2028. No matter who wins this one coming up, the progressive people and the indigenous people are going to be there in 2028. And AOC is going to be there. So that's the answer to your question. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So can we get another round of applause for our panelists up here? Chase, everyone's standing up for you right now.
Love you all.
So thank you. I would just like to have a few closing words before we venture from and we part ways for our temporary time. I would like to ask that you all stay up to date with the latest and greatest news and events that are coming through the ARRC as well as LPLP. We have provided a QR code for you tonight, or it's not night yet, for today, this evening, to complete and give us some feedback on your experience here at our event. The feedback is really important for us as collectives, as agencies of change, and knowing how we can do things differently, what we can improve on, and also hearing what we did good is always helpful. So On behalf of the American Indian Resource Center and LPLP and the Center for Nonviolence, I would like to thank you for being here with us today. We appreciate your presence and your support in this event. If you're interested in knowing more about the events, please see the tables in the back. And one last thing, please take some pan dulce with you. We set up some boxes in the back on both sides, so please take some and share with your friends and family. Safe travels home today, everyone. Thank you so much.